Welcome to History Channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. The Grand Prayer Hall of the Sultan Hassan Mosque in Cairo, photographed in 1880, reveals the architectural mastery of the Mamluk era. Its immense Iwan, bathed in filtered sunlight, stood as a sanctuary of both faith and power, echoing the prayers of generations beneath its towering arches and carved stone walls. In Berlin, 1942, three powerful men met Amin al-Husseini, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, Indian independence leader Subhas Chandra Bose, and Iraqi Prime Minister Rashid Ali al-Gailani. This rare photograph captures a moment when anti-colonial and Axis-aligned interests briefly converged amid the global chaos of World War II. During the violent Rand Revolt of 1922 in South Africa, a lone communist stood in defiance on the street, daring mounted police to shoot him. His act symbolized the deep social divisions between white supremacists and labor revolutionaries during one of the nation's earliest and bloodiest labor uprisings. This is the last photograph of Fritz Dietrich, a former SS officer, taken before his execution in 1948, unknown at the time. Dietrich had overseen mass killings in Liepaja during World War II. He was later hanged for the murder of 7 American prisoners at Landsberg prison. In the 1920s, 2 flappers pose atop an Egyptian pyramid, their modern attire contrasting with the timeless desert. Guided by a local escort, their carefree smiles symbolize the adventurous spirit of post-war youth, blending glamour with ancient history in one of the most daring travel moments of the era. The mugshot of Dan Sosay, a 14-year-old Navajo orphan, reflects the harsh justice of early 20th century America. Imprisoned in Leavenworth for killing 4 tribal members who had enslaved him, his tragic story exposes the deep scars of oppression, isolation, and misunderstanding within Native American communities of that time. In February 1954, Marilyn Monroe performed for American troops in Korea, bringing warmth and glamour to a cold, war-torn land. Dressed in a shimmering gown and glowing under spotlights, she sang before thousands of soldiers, offering a brief escape from hardship through the power of her presence and smile. In 1952, Dr. Rosalind Franklin captured photograph 51 at King's College, London. This X-ray crystallography image revealed the helical structure of DNA, a breakthrough that transformed biology forever. Her meticulous work, long undercredited, provided the foundation for the modern understanding of genetic inheritance and molecular life. Children in the Republic of Uzis in 1941 practice calligraphy under candlelight as war rages beyond their classroom. Despite the chaos of Nazi occupation and resistance battles, these young students preserve culture and language, embodying a quiet resilience amid the darkest chapter of Yugoslav history. Tsar Nicholas II opens Russia's first state, Duma, at the Winter Palace in May 1906, beneath grand chandeliers. Reformers and aristocrats gather, marking a cautious step toward constitutional rule. The ceremony reflects a fleeting hope for change before the empire's collapse and revolution just over a decade later. In 1956, America began building its interstate highway system. The groundbreaking marked the start of a vast infrastructure project that would link cities, transform commerce, and reshape daily life. Funded under President Eisenhower, these endless roads symbolized progress, mobility, and the dawn of modern American connectivity. Inside Fort Sam Houston in 1917, 64 black soldiers of the 24th Infantry Regiment faced court-martial for mutiny. Years of racial abuse had driven them to revolt, resulting in bloodshed in Houston. This solemn image captures the tension between injustice, duty, and desperation during a deeply segregated era. In 1945, Soviet and American troops met on the Elbe River, uniting after years of brutal war. Smiling soldiers shook hands, celebrating victory over Nazi Germany. This brief moment of camaraderie symbolized hope for peace, though the coming Cold War would soon divide the allies who once stood together. During the Iran hostage crisis in November 1979, a young revolutionary stood guard outside the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, rifle in hand. The photo captures the tense early days of a 444-day standoff, a defining moment that reshaped U.S.-Iran relations and symbolized the power of revolutionary zeal. In 1980 Afghanistan, a man condemned for supporting the communist regime faced execution. Caught in the turmoil of the Soviet-Afghan War, he stood silent as judgment was passed. The haunting photograph reveals the brutal consequences of shifting loyalties in a land torn by ideology and unending conflict. Under the darkness of August 13, 1961, East German troops unrolled barbed wire across Berlin, splitting families overnight. By dawn, two mothers and their children stood divided, waving through the fence. This moment of confusion and heartbreak marked the beginning of the Berlin Wall and decades of separation. Between 1988 and 1990, two Soviet aircraft carriers, Tbilisi and Riga, stood unfinished in massive shipyards. One would become the Admiral Kuznetsov, the pride of Russia's navy, while the other was sold to China and renamed Liaoning. Their construction symbolized both Soviet ambition and the twilight of a fading empire. In 1992, Michael Jackson was photographed watching a documentary about Adolf Hitler. The image, both curious and unsettling, reflects his lifelong fascination with human psychology, fame, and power. It remains one of the rare glimpses into the pop icon's complex mind during his most introspective and controversial years. Johnny Clem, once a drummer boy at the Battle of Chickamauga, became a Union legend after shooting a Confederate officer. Rising through the ranks over decades, he retired in 1916 as a Major General, a living testament to youthful courage and the enduring legacy of America's Civil War. In Austria, September 1955, a Soviet soldier dances for the last time before withdrawal. His steps echo joy and farewell as decades of occupation near their end. The photo captures both relief and nostalgia, marking the close of one chapter in Europe's long post-war recovery. Members of the South African Communist Party stand beneath a banner reading, "Workers of the World, fight and unite for a white SA." During the Rand Revolt in 1922, the image exposes the contradictions within early labor movements, where race and class collided under the pressures of revolution and inequality. In 1946, a young Marilyn Monroe posed as a pinup model for $10 an hour. Her early photos, used by artists for reference paintings, reveal the humble beginnings of a woman who would become a global icon. Even then, her charm and confidence hinted at the legend she'd become. In the 1930s, Soviet security chief Lavrentiy Beria appears beside Joseph Stalin's daughter, Svetlana Alliluyeva. The image captures a deceptive calm within Stalin's inner circle. Beria's presence, later infamous for terror and purges, contrasts with the innocence of youth, an eerie snapshot of power, loyalty, and hidden danger in the USSR. On April 12, 1999, Tragedy struck in Wuppertal, Germany, when a suspended Schwebebahn train derailed and plunged into the River Wupper. The accident killed 5 passengers and injured 47, shocking the nation. It remains one of the most devastating incidents in the long history of this iconic monorail system. The grand opening of Scala department store in Budapest, 1976, marked a symbol of modern consumer life under socialist Hungary. Crowds gathered to experience imported goods and Western-style shopping for the first time. For many, it represented both progress and the growing influence of global culture behind the Iron Curtain. In March 1977, 2 Boeing 747s collided on the runway at Los Rodeos Airport, Tenerife, killing 583 people. The disaster, caused by fog and miscommunication, became aviation's deadliest accident. Its aftermath led to sweeping reforms in air traffic control and communication protocols worldwide, forever changing flight safety standards. In the 1970s, Iranian students living in the United States held protests demanding the fall of the Pahlavi monarchy. Many called for armed resistance, inspired by revolutionary movements sweeping across the world. Their activism foreshadowed the political upheaval that would soon transform Iran during the 1979 Islamic Revolution. 2 scouts of the Cuban Liberation Army stand alert in the forests near Santiago de Cuba in 1898, armed with a Remington and a Mauser rifle. They embodied Cuba's struggle for independence from Spain. Their expressions reveal exhaustion, courage, and the relentless spirit of a nation fighting for freedom. In 1928, the enthronement ceremony of Emperor Showa, known as Hirohito, took place in the Shishinden Hall of Kyoto. Clad in traditional robes, he received the imperial regalia, marking the beginning of a reign that would see Japan through war, defeat, and reconstruction across the turbulent 20th century. An RAF reconnaissance aircraft flying at 26,000 feet captured a rare image of the German battleship Bismarck on May 21, 1941. The photograph revealed its precise location, enabling the Royal Navy to pursue and sink the feared warship 6 days later, changing the course of naval warfare in World War II. A few days after the atomic bombing, Hiroshima lay in ruins. The August 8, 1945 photograph shows a silent, flattened cityscape where once vibrant neighborhoods stood. Only shadows, twisted steel, and rubble remained, a haunting reminder of the destructive power that ended the war and changed humanity forever. In 1925, sound effects artists known as noisemakers worked for General Electric's WGY radio station in Schenectady, New York. Using props and mechanical devices, they recreated thunder, footsteps, and wind, bringing radio dramas to life. Their creativity laid the foundation for the world of modern audio entertainment. A soldier from Valencia, Spain, photographed in Havana around 1895, stands in uniform during the final years of Spain's colonial presence in Cuba. His weary expression reflects the strain of a fading empire, as rebellion and disease threaten both morale and control across the Caribbean island. A formation of B-17 flying fortresses, known as the Bloody Hundredth, flies over Europe in 1944. The bomber Hard Luck leads the group, symbolizing both bravery and sacrifice. Each mission brought heavy losses, yet these crews pressed on, striking deep into enemy territory to weaken Nazi Germany's war machine. The Soviet women's gymnastics team arrived in Mexico for the 1968 Olympics, representing athletic excellence during the height of Cold War rivalry. Their poise and precision captivated the world. Beyond medals, they carried the image of Soviet discipline and national pride, inspiring generations of female athletes worldwide. Tsar Nicholas II poses with his 5 children in 1913, just 4 years before revolution would end their dynasty. The image captures a peaceful family moment, the last of its kind. Within a few years, the Romanovs would fall, victims of a changing world and the collapse of Imperial Russia. Officers of the South Matanzas Brigade of the Cuban Liberation Army gather for a portrait taken between 1895 and 1898. Their determined faces reflect the sacrifices of men fighting for Cuba's independence from Spain. These were leaders of a rebellion that would ultimately shape the island's national identity. On November 3, 1950, U.S. paratroopers from the 187th Airborne Regiment leapt from C-119 Flying Boxcar aircraft near Suncheon, north of Pyongyang. The mission, part of the Korean War, aimed to cut enemy retreat routes. The image captures courage in motion, men suspended between earth and sky in a moment of peril. In November 1944, the B-17G Blue Streak was struck by enemy flak while bombing a synthetic oil plant in Merseburg, Germany. Flames engulfed the aircraft as it descended. Despite the chaos, some crew members parachuted to safety. The burning plane became a tragic symbol of sacrifice in the air war. A street scene in El Paso, Texas, from 1979, shows the blend of American and Mexican cultures that define the border city. Old cars, neon lights, and desert sunlight frame a community where traditions met modern life, offering a glimpse of the changing face of America in that decade. In the mid-2000s, Iraqi insurgents operated in the shadows against U.S. forces. Armed and masked, they used improvised weapons and ambush tactics in a brutal conflict that followed the invasion. Their presence in these photos reflects the chaos and resistance that shaped years of unrest and reconstruction across Iraq. Serbian. Officers in 1914 pose for a wartime portrait at the dawn of World War I. Their uniforms are neat, but their faces reveal exhaustion from the Balkan conflicts that preceded the global war. Within months, these men would be caught in battles that would reshape Europe forever. The 1980 class photo from Bonn American High School shows an international mix of students in West Germany's capital. Children of diplomats, soldiers, and foreign workers gathered under one roof, reflecting a unique Cold War generation growing up between cultures, languages, and divided political worlds. In 1858, the town of Oberlin, Ohio, rallied to rescue John Price, a formerly enslaved man captured by slave hunters. 20 locals were later arrested for aiding his escape. Their defiance of the fugitive slave law became a landmark act of abolitionist courage and community resistance before the Civil War. In Florence, 1944, American soldiers met an armagero, an armored Italian guard, from a bygone tradition. The meeting captured the surreal mix of history and liberation as modern war crossed paths with medieval echoes. Amid ruins and relief, cultures collided in the final years of Europe's devastating conflict. A B-17 flying fortress returning from Cologne in 1944 sustained catastrophic damage when flak exploded through its nose. Instruments were destroyed, and control was nearly lost, yet the pilot managed to land it safely. The crew's survival stood as a remarkable testament to skill, endurance, and human determination under fire.